It's Friday. It's time for Friday with the Fuzz. We're here with Mike Greene and Chief Jeff Swoboda. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Roy. Thank you for having Jeff in. Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. Happy New Year.
We've had a fairly busy week. Happy New Year to you.
Yes. Busy, exciting week.
How was your New Year?
2015.
Did you do
Nice.
anything exciting, special?
No, nice. Just wife and I spent it together, and it was a very nice New Year's.
You're about the same age as I am. I think actually the same age as I am. And I was talking with Roy earlier this week about New Year's plans, and it was a big thing to do. My age was to go out to like the hotel parties but I would go out with like my parents when I was, just pre-teen or whatever. Was that something that you did ever with your folks? I mean, was that a thing that like, you heard? Remember? Yeah,
except not at places. It was always we just have family over, kind of thing. So yeah.
No, we did the hotels. Like we would go to like the Holidome, and you would buy like like the champagne toast, and you'd get like one glass of champagne, and I wouldn't, but and then you'd have the hotel stay and dinner and stuff like that. So I was just looking for somebody who's been in the same boat as me.
You guys did it up. We were pretty low key,
Maybe that was a Skokie thing. I don't know. Only people out there did it. So you had a good New Year's. How was business?
Business was good. It was busy, as New Year's is most times. We had, I'm sure many people heard some of the fireworks that were going off. Didn't get any of the reports of, unfortunately, sometimes we do hear the gunfire, and although may have been heard mixed in there with the fireworks that were going on, we didn't get anything where something fell back down. We've had in the years past where it would come through the roof. I know one person
landed like in a child's bed or a crib or something.
Empty crib,
year,
luckily the child wasn't there. But yeah, we've had people with it coming back down. One person was hit in the foot one time, so I don't believe that we had any of those, but it was busy. There were some large parties that needed to be, kind of, shut down after a little while. A couple of fights that were going on, a couple accidents. So it was a busy time, but our midnight shift handled it, and we're all still here.
Do you guys and gals go into those kind of weekends, kind of just baited, like holding your breath, like, all right, just get through this?
No, we know it's going to be real busy for a while. 4th of July, there are certain ones that really bring everybody out. And 4th of July, you have the weather as well with it, too. So you have a lot of the parties going on, the fireworks. People, again, if they want to sometimes, unfortunately, do the gunfire in the air, alcohol, but mix them with air, nicer weather where people then can go much later. So here, a lot of stuff is confined to homes, so you don't have the loud, where people hear as much, except apartment complexes or duplexes where people hear. But just knowing it's going to be busy, midnight shift always staffs heavier, knowing that that's going to happen. We have kind of a power shift that assists with that as well. So, it was, certain times of the year you just know you're going to be running very busy for about 4 or 5 hours. And some days it's going to be a little bit longer than that, so almost a whole shift. So it quiets down around 4 or 5 in the morning.
Speaking of midnight shifts, I think one of your newly promoted folks was on midnights, and is Commander Floyd?
Yep, Commander Floyd.
Still on midnights for now?
He is.
Or?
Yeah, he is until officially Glenn is through Sunday. Okay. So Collins officially becomes a commander Monday morning.
Gotcha.
And actually I think it's Glenn's through Saturday, I think it is, or something. So then Sunday, Colin becomes it. But we had our annual shift change anyways the week after. So whatever that is, I think it's the 11th. So we just left it alone, and so just leaving the Commander Flurry for a week on the midnight shift. And then the following week, then he starts running the investigations division.
I attended the ceremony as...
Yes, you did.
Simply as a friend to the Elgin police, not as a working individual. I brought a date. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I did not.
My little brookie.
Oh, I didn't see it. She must have been below the headline that I saw.
She's the same height as Eleanor.
Okay.
But she got to meet Officer Echeverria, and she met Glenn and Glenn's wife Jenny, and so she met a bunch of people.
She met everybody.
Of course, she's heard me talk about for several years and things like that. So
how old is she now?
She's 9.
Okay.
So
I think last time I saw her, she was only probably about 5 or so.
Yeah, sounds about right.
It's been a few years.
Yep. So ceremony was great. Certainly, a few things stuck out to me. I enjoyed some of the different. I guess I'd never been to a promotion that way. Some of the pinning ceremony where friends and or family or could do the pinning, that was interesting. I thought very touching. I particularly like the one where I believe it's one of your new hires, Sproles,
Yes.
His father is a Metro officer.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. I like that.
We've never really done that before, and so everybody understands we had 9 new officers sworn in. And
nice touch doing it one by one.
Yeah, it took a little bit longer, and for some it might have been a little tedious, but I think people you were there to support the police department. You're there to see. So we did them each individually. So it took each person got probably a minute to swear them in, and a minute or so speech, if you want to call it that. And so for 2 minutes, but at that time while they had their hands raised, and the city clerk Kim Dewis was giving them the oath of office for the new position of being a police officer, family was able to come forward, take nice pictures, and so so we did them one by one. That's usually not a big deal if there's only 2 or 3 doing them one by one, but with 9 it was a question, and we said, you know what, and all the feedback
and all the
that I got.
promotions too had the same thing. So.
Exactly, and so then one of them, Sproles, his father came up before the ceremony and said, you know what, my son gave me my badge when I became a police officer 20 years ago, or 20-something years ago. And he said, do you mind if I give him his? And I'm like, absolutely not. So we set it up so that he was able to come forward and give it to him. I know it was very touching. I saw some teary eyes between them, and so it was a great father-son moment. And so we were able to do that. Swore in all 9 of them, and then went through into promoted Sergeant Dave Lesko, and then Adam Schussler and Colin Fleury. And when we promote them, they're able to have their families surround them if they'd like. And then once they're already in uniform, so it's different from new hires.
Right.
The old badge is taken off and a new badge is put on, and so then you could have a family member do that. So that was very nice, and everybody was able to have a
I wasn't
nice
sure
event.
who was going to do Commander Flurries because he brought like 20 kids up there, and, 3 adults with him. I don't know. Large family is what it sounds like. And
exactly.
Very important to him. But he definitely stole the show. Particularly by the second half of the ceremony, his speech, which he says was left on his bed.
Right.
If that was all just winging it, wow.
I know. I think it was kind of winging it, but I've heard Colin say similar things in the past, so it's kind of like on here I have a routine I say all the time, right? And that's his theme, and it's part of the reason he was promoted to commander. He is a guy who leads from the front. He's going to be very active in again being out with the officers and the sergeants and lieutenants that fall beneath him in the investigations division, and that's our gang unit, our unit for special assignment, our narcotics unit. So he brought all the brand new people up there with him and surrounded them with him and said, this is how I lead from the front, but we all just need to realize that even with all the things going on in the world, that police are still important and respected, and when something happens, we work together to go out and do whatever it takes to get the job done. And so I think I agree. Everybody, like I said when I got up there, I said, people were ready to just run out of the building. He gets people fired up.
So it was packed too. There was 400, 500 people in there.
They were all out in the hallway. I mean, you couldn't even, So we knew it would be with 9 new officers, and then with Glenn being going, very popular, and then Colin with the family and how popular, and each one of the lieutenant and sergeant. It's great support, obviously always from within the police department, but then so many people from outside the police department.
No, I seem to recall that there were going to be 8 new hires, and then there were 9 by ceremony time.
Just we were able to hire up, so we were able to figure out, like, when people are retiring, people start announcing, this spring I'm probably going to be retiring, and so we kind of plan, because it takes so long. It takes, for the time we hire somebody, like these officers who are going to the academy won't be on the street probably until August.
I was going to say June, wow,
yeah.
August.
Well, because it's going to be, but I think we're lucky enough that they're able to start the academy right away, so they're going to be there for a little over 3 months, and then when they come back, they do internal for at least a month, and then they go to the FTO program, which is generally taken between 3 and 4 months, and then they're on their own. So you add all that up, you're, 7, 8 months into it, so it won't be, beginning of summer, we won't even have any of these. So we kind of look and see, okay, who's retiring. We see that people are announced, they don't officially announce, some do officially announce, but then we know, okay, by March, April, we're going to have more retirements, and so we were able to go one more up.
Now, you had a number of officers that are coming over from other departments. There was one, I believe, was an officer already in North Carolina. There was an officer that's already in DeKalb. There was another officer, I believe, coming from Streamwood. And I might be missing, but I remember
there was one more, too, yeah.
Will they be able to start sooner? Will they be on the streets sooner than August because they've already been through the academy?
Exactly. So it's actually nice because we brought 9 people in and tried to train 9 new police officers all at once. That'd be very tough for our field training officers. So it was basically half and half. I think there were 5 former officers and 4 new, or vice versa. So we split it up. So the ones that have already been a police officer don't have to go back to the academy, and they're able to start with the police department, and they'll start right with the in-service, and then, or I'm sorry, the in-house we call it, and then hop right. They still have to go through the field training officer program, so it's still about a 4-month thing. So they'll be, come April, May, they'll be on the streets by themselves. So
we had a couple of Elgin people as well. I remember the one kid was I think the first person to talk. The first gentleman. Larkin or Elgin High School graduate, I believe.
Yeah, I think we had maybe one of each, but I know when the Larkin
ECC grad,
definitely ECC people. Yeah, you're right. And another one I know when the family came up, and he was a Larkin High, but he was towards the end. I know Jason, and I think there was 2 rows got up to get pictures.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
so that's why it's so important. It's so cool for the family. These are officers' dreams coming up for this and wanting to be a police officer in Elgin for a long time, and so you get that 2 minutes where it's all you for a little bit, where you get the microphone and you raise your hand. So it was a great ceremony, as they always are. That gives a nice boost to the police department and internally. Change is always good, so we'll get some new thoughts with Colin coming up. Adam Schussler is going to go and be the midnight shift lieutenant, so he's taking over for Colin. And Adam's going to do a fantastic job, very similar with Colin, tactical response team member for a number of years. Was just up in investigations for a while. Now he's a communications director, but he was a resident officer for a number of years off of Hickory. So I think he did that for probably 4 or 5 years. So he's going to do great. And then Dave Lesko, juvenile detective for a long time, over 10 years. He's been working the juvenile detective, so very well versed there. And he's coming back on the street to the day shift. So it's all that change is good, and then it opens up new spots. So now there's somebody else who's able to become a juvenile officer. There's movement within the police department, which is always good.
You got a good jab in on the fire folks. That was good.
Somebody told me that it was a jab. I'm trying to remember which one.
It was something about we're not always thanked and we're not always beloved. If we'd wanted that, we would have become fire.
Yeah, but that's a compliment to them. They're loved.
Everybody loves a fireman.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's not it. Because Chief Fahey, I think, even came over to it, said that Tim Michaels was, hey, he's ripping on us in public now. That's not ripping on you. Come on. It's telling that everybody loves you.
All servants.
Exactly. Like brothers and sisters, right? You love them, but they're also the ones you always. Exactly. So fire, and that's a point that goes to the fire department is always a representative. We make sure we support them with their promotions, and they were there for us. So that was great to see.
I saw Aaron Neal there in the audience. He was sitting there with, and he wasn't even working. He was just in civilian clothes, and I don't think he saw me, but that's the type of community that you've built. Not you, but
right.
That the city has built, where, come any circumstance, they're going to be there for each other.
Absolutely, and Aaron's huge help to the police department throughout the year, and everybody, fire department, the community at large. So he's always out there helping. But yeah, that's one of the things when City Manager Stiegel took over. Now it's probably been maybe 5-6 years ago, was this idea of one Elgin, and that the community deserves a lot more than just when people call, say, oh, that's not us, that's Public Works, or when they call Public Works, oh, that's not us, that's streets, and people don't like that. And so he recognized it and said, you know what, we are one Elgin, and when somebody needs something, if it's not you, you get it done, or you make the connection for them. But we're not just going to be transferring. That's part of 311. That people can have one-stop shop. You call with any problem, whether you need police assistance or whether you need a pothole filled or you just want to know what time City Hall opens. You call one number, 311, you'll get that answer. So huge for customer service, but just makes so much more sense that we all work together. I mean, police department, Dan O'Shea right now, who's over our administration division, and Jeff Adam, one of our lieutenants, spends a lot of time at Public Works, meeting with Public Works and talking with them and planning it with the snow and everything, rather than, I remember, prior to that, it was a matter of, if it was going to snow, we would then get on the radio. Is anybody from Public Works working for plowing, and when are they starting? And we wouldn't know. Now communication is so well done. We know who's working. We have the phone numbers for people. Communications is a great hub for it as well. So the whole One Elgin concept is really worked out well here in Elgin. So it's great to see. City Hall was there, 311, fire, Public Works, you name it. Everybody was there.
Coming up on our allotted time, listening to WRMN's Friday with the Fuzz with Elgin's Chief of Police, Jeff Swoboda. Real quick, though, I want to let you talk. I know iDrive's coming up, which is something that I know we've kind of alluded to a couple times. You also have your Spanish-speaking CPA and Blue Light Week. Can you talk about those quickly?
Yeah, iDrive is going to be, I was looking here at my phone, January 14th. There's going to be 3 different times. There's one press release, I believe, is coming out today, but it's at 9 in the morning, then at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then one at, 6 o'clock at night, 6 to 7. I think they're...
This is an effort to really just involve people in the community that are out driving often, like taxi cab drivers, bus drivers, different folks like that to keep your eyes alert. Here's where to call. Here's what to do. Here's how you can help us.
Right, FedEx, UPS, anybody that's out there driving Elgin routinely has a lot of information. They see a lot, and maybe they don't know exactly how to contact the police department. So we're just going to do a quick overview on what to look for. If you see something suspicious, how to get in touch with us, and hopefully, again, just help us with this whole idea that the communities are eyes and ears out there, and this is one chance to train them in the forefront, so then they can help us. And so we'll be inviting everyone out in the next day or two. The press release will go out.
Spanish-speaking Citizens Police Academy coming up. It's 3 Saturdays beginning on January 17th. From 8 until 2 is the class. Can you tell us what this effort is about?
Yeah, we've had one of our programs that gets the most publicity and that people love is our police academy, Citizens Police Academy. And we have the Alumni Association, and they just learn so much about what policing is doing, and then they really start to follow the police officers and follow what the Elgin Police Department's doing. So what we started was this whole idea of, and Eric Echeverria was doing this. It was something that was tried years ago. And I think we might have done a class or so, but now Eric really just started working on this. Sergeant Santiago, big parts of it, and what it is our Citizens Police Academy, but it's in Spanish. There are many citizens in Elgin who need police assistance, want to help on getting involved with the police department, but maybe don't have a command of the language enough to come to our regular Citizens Police Academy, where they might not be able to follow. So we'll do it in Spanish. It's still there's a important part of this community, and here's what you do if you need help. Here's why we do this. Here's why we do that. And again, all of this in our Citizen Police Academy, Spanish and our normal Citizen Police Academy, is meant really just to, again, show people what we're doing. And then people kind of like, oh, okay, it makes sense, because from the outside you hear rumors or you hear this, or if I call, they're going to want. It's just a bunch of bad information. So this is just a way to gain trust and get everybody's involvement who's out there in the community.
Blue Light Week. I understand this started from one of the officers, just kind of looking to show some support for the police officers in the community, and being asked if you have a blue light or a blue light bulb, or if you can get one easily, maybe to put one out between January 1st and January 7th on your front porch.
Yeah, just replacing light bulbs. I know we've done this for domestic violence and things before, but this one's just to show your support for law enforcement. Put a blue light bulb in your again, on your front porch, side, by your garage, whatever. We have found that getting a blue light bulb can be difficult, and especially after the holidays, some people were kind of going all over. They were sold out. Somebody did say they took a Sharpie marker, a blue one, and colored their light bulb and put it in, and it worked. So somebody else said, all I have is a blue ribbon, so I'm tying that around my light pole.
So that one is cool, not one that's been plugged in already.
Yeah, right.
This is a safety.
There you go. There you go, safety first.
Always.
So just to show your support for law enforcement, and that was probably one of the coolest things about the ceremony. At the end too, when people, we're talking about showing your support for law enforcement, and basically a standing ovation for all the officers that were there, the new hires, and just for law enforcement in general. Thought that was really cool, and just a very touching moment that we do have so much support here that sometimes it gets lost with all the other things going on out there, and it's because we continue to work with the community. The community continues to work with us. So
we'll keep up the good work. Happy New Year to you and your department, and thank you for all that you do.
Thanks for having me. Happy New Year, and here's to 2015. We're excited.
Let's have a great one.
All right.
You're listening to WRMN AM 1410
in Elgin.